Hi, it's great to be back here again. And before we start our next lesson on Pirkay Avot, I just want to say a few words. I just got back from a memorial service for one of my greatest friends, Shlomo Miller, Hashem Yikom Damo, who was a great leader of Itamar. He was a tremendous, tremendous saint, a person. His life was completely centered around doing good deeds and helping others. And he was the head of security going back a few years ago, and a terrorist entered the community, and he ran up quickly to make contact and stop the terrorist, and he was unfortunately killed in that battle. And Shlomo leaves behind a wife and 7 children, and they're living on Itamar today, most of them, continuing in the father's path of building the land of Israel. And I just want to dedicate this class in his name. Today we're going to continue our lesson on Hillel. Hillel was a great leader of Israel, as we spoke about. He was the head of the Sanhedrin, the Nasi. And this Mishnah is a continuation of his words, another teaching of Hillel. And what does the Mishnah say? Hu haya omer, he used to say, and he used to say refers to something that he would go over a lot and something that he would live. I mean, literally means he used to say this, but it means that he would actually, this is something that he actually lived. This was all his summary of teaching, a very powerful teaching that he would go by. Nigad Shema, if a person tries to drag his name, this is in Aramaic, this particular Mishnah, someone tries to, literally means to drag out his name, meaning if someone tries to make fame for his name, avad shemei, the opposite will happen, he'll lose his name. Udela mosif, if a person does not add on to his teachings, to his learnings, to his studying, yasef, his study will diminish, he'll start to lose his knowledge. Udela yalef, if a person does not learn, ketala chayav, he will be obligated death penalty. Not literally death penalty means, but he's referring to death. And this is a very powerful statement coming from Hillel. We'll get back to that later. Udishtamesh b'tagan chalaf. If a person uses the crown of Torah, he will again perish. Now, in order to understand this Mishnah, and this is one of the powerful teachings of Hillel, we spoke about last week about his modesty. Today we're going to mention a quick story as well of Hillel, another story. There's a story about these 2 guys that have a bet with one another, and they want to show which one of them can get Hillel angry in the betting of 400 zuz. It's a large sum of money that one is going to pay the other if they get Hillel angry. That's not an easy thing to do. So one agrees to go, and he goes to Hillel's house. He knocks on the door. Hello, Hillel. Of course, he's calling him by his first name. That's not the way you usually treat a leader of Israel. And Hillel, it was Erev Shabbat, and we all know Erev Shabbat, like right now, there's a lot of pressure in there. We're trying to get ready for the Shabbat. So many preparations. It's not the time that most people are relaxed. But anyway, knocking on the door, Hillel says, yes, who's there? He was showering, he was getting ready for Shabbat. He comes out, he puts on a very, very special garment. He comes out. He says, yes, my son, what would you like? And he goes, well, can I ask you a question? He says, yeah, sure. And then he asks him some stupid question about why do Babylonians have round heads? And Hillel, instead of saying, what kind of stupid question you asked me, he said, well, they have very wise midwives. And then he went on to ask another question. Why does a certain nation have like slanty eyelids? And he said, well, that protects them from the dust, from the desert. They're desert people. And then again, left his house and came back again and made him crazy. Hillel, can I ask you another question? He goes, yes. And he asked, why does a certain nation have wide feet? And he said, well, they live in the bitzot, which are swamplands, and they need wide feet for the water. And he kept making crazy these crazy questions. Now most people would just slap him around and get out of here, yell at him. But of course Hillel was so modest, so quiet, and just said, okay. So the guy comes back again a 4th time, and he says, you know something? I have a lot of questions, but I don't want to get you angry. He goes, no, I won't be angry. Just ask me all the questions in the world. And then the guy says to him, you know something? There shouldn't be a lot of people like you in this world, Hillel. And he goes, why? What happened? He goes, well, because of you, I lost 400 zuz on a bet. This is, again, is a I think amazing story, which depicts the Hillel as such a modest person. Think about it. Think about someone going over to one leader, a leader of a country, a leader of a high court, Hillel, and going to his house and harassing him and just getting a smile back in his face for an answer. I think it's an amazing lesson on modesty. No arrogance here. And here Hillel is teaching us again how does it connect to the Mishnah itself. And he's saying, if a person tries to make a name for himself, his name will be diminished. And again, this is particular Hillel. Person who behaves this way, he lives this. He does not look at himself as anything. He's completely selfless, doesn't look upon himself with, look who I am. a very, very modest man. He's a worthy leader of Israel. And then he goes on to say again, if a person doesn't add to his teachings, he'll lose his teachings. If he doesn't study Torah, he'll be lost. And that's getting interesting. It's getting harsh. And then he even says if someone doesn't, study at all, he deserves death. Now, why Hillel's being so harsh over here? And I think this all connects to what Hillel is all about, what he believes in. Because Hillel says, most people in this world do things for personal gain. And he's saying, no. The entire life of Torah should be a Torah life of not for I'm going to be called a great rabbi, a great saint, a great leader, but I'm really studying Torah just to do it because I love Hashem and I want to do the right thing in this world. And Hillel's saying, number one, don't make a name for yourself. And after all that, don't think, because you're not going to make a name for yourself, you may be a little lazy about studying, saying, no. Your study must continue to grow all the time. And if you don't, you're not worth living, because there's a whole life of this world is not making a career out of Torah, but making a love of Torah, a way of life. Torah is not so a lot of people call the Jewish nation the nation of the book, and that's not true. We're the nation of life. It's not just information and books, but we live the real Torah, the life of the Torah, and that's what Hill is trying to teach over here. And then he goes on to say, if a person uses the crown of the Torah, this person again will perish. Now, this connects to the beginning of his words, how modest a person must be. And it's an amazing story, an example of Rabbi Tarfon, a great leader of Israel, Second Temple period, at the end of the Second Temple, a friend of Rabbi Akiva. And he was a great landowner, he's a wealthy rabbi, and he was one time in one of his fields eating some figs, dried figs in his field. And one of his fields, and one of the workers didn't recognize who he was, this guy eating, and he started slapping him around and saying, what are you doing? Get out of there, really abusing him. And Rabbi Tarfon didn't say one word that I'm Rabbi Tarfon. And later on, someone recognized, this is Rabbi Tarfon, what are you doing? Who are you hitting? He goes, oh my goodness, what did I do? And Rabbi Tarfon says, no. He goes, I will not use the crown of Torah. And therefore, I didn't want to even say who I was, because that's how careful he was to use the crown, saying, I'm this rabbi, and you're going to stop hitting me because of the Torah? No. We can't use the Torah for any personal gain. That's an amazing lesson, a very hard thing to achieve. A person has to work very hard to get to that level of these great rabbis. Shabbat Shalom. It was great being back again. We'll see you next week. Bye.